Hello everybody, welcome to the True Life News Show. Today it has passed. I can't believe it. It's finally passed through the biggest hurdle that was in the entire GOP realm, guys. Trump's dream team have gotten it across the finish line. We have seen this big, beautiful bill actually pass. There's one big hurdle, guys. The House Ways and Means Committee. This is a huge win for Trump, Scott Bessent, Elon Musk, and even Mike Johnson. And this is a huge win, guys. But there is a huge loss that we're going to tell you in a moment. I can't believe it. It was one of the biggest things that I believe helped Trump win the presidential election, and it's not in the bill, guys. This is really upsetting, but we got a lot of news to cover today. Not only did Elon Musk and Scott Bessent play a huge role in getting this passed with the evidence that they brought to procure all the investigations of where we needed to cut money, guys, but this is also signaling out all the rhinos that are in the GOP trying to put a facade on that they are truly MAGA when we know that they're not. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, Trump's big man at the DOJ, Ed Martin, says that with the new evidence with former President Biden, they are examining all of Biden's pardons and who was controlling the audit pen and making the decisions. And guys, if you got your popcorn, go ahead, take a seat, guys. Get ready for a show because you're going to enjoy this next one. On top of that, Trump is also calling on the DOJ for investigations into Kamala Harris over newfound evidence pertaining to campaign contributions in her presidential run that Trump calls unlawful, guys. Holy smokes, this is huge, guys. Trump ain't pulling no punches. He's going after everybody. They used lawfare against him. They cheated or they did things illegally. He wants to expose everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. But the House Budget Committee, which was the huge one, actually passed a vote 17-6 to pass President Trump's historic tax cuts and the budget bill. 4 Republican members voted present to allow the passage of the bill. Representative Ralph Norman explained his choice to vote present. I'm excited about the changes we've made. It looks like Trump's made some calls and struck some deals like always. Guys, this is huge. And not only that, the House GOP Speaker Mike Johnson said that he will not send lawmakers home for Memorial Day recess unless they have passed the big, beautiful budget bill. So hopefully somebody's growing a spine, but unfortunately, guys, and we're going to dig into this because there's a lot to it. The no tax on Social Security is not there. Everything else that Trump promised, everything else that he said is there, but the GOP Republicans failed to deliver that for President Trump's big, beautiful bill. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I've got some details on what actually happened. We'll go over in a minute. And then also, too, the DOJ is set to review President Biden's pardons to determine whether they were lawfully authorized per U.S. pardon attorney Ed Martin. Guys, we got a big show for you today. Bombshell news, guys. So much is going on. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you so much, guys. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining the True Life News family. We want you here. We want to take care of you every day with the top news. And want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. We are so thankful that you support us each month as we continue to give back to charity every single month. On the 22nd, you see this guy donating thousands of dollars online to local charities, changing lives. And we're changing most of the charities go to kids, guys. Innocent kids that have nobody else, guys. We help them out. I want to say thank you to everybody that's given a super chat donation. Want to give some love to Elaine Demeen, Mr. Norby. Y'all show them some love in the chat, as well as B1 Sly One for the super chat. Let's go. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for your support. This is big, guys. Not only did we get the big, beautiful bill actually passed through all the budget committees, passing the rest of it is easy. It's easy. We got the votes with the Senate and with Trump. We're looking now into Kamala Harris over the newfound evidence of illegal, unlawful campaign contributions during her presidential run, and Ed Martin, the U.S. pardon attorney for the United States, is investigating now into Biden's false pardons. Guys, this is huge. Democrats are losing it. Check this out.
You know, Democrats across the country, they're outraged, they're angry, they're in disbelief that their plan to take down Trump backfired in spectacular fashion. Their anger palpable as they watch Trump win trade wars, make peace deals, free hostages, secure our country once and for all, lower inflation at the same time. But it's been an uphill battle. The House Budget Committee voted down President Trump's one big, beautiful bill aimed at putting more money in the pockets of working class Americans. Democrats, every single one of them, voted against it, along with 4 Republicans. You know, as the saying goes.
And then, guys, this is because, again, we're bringing the full context of what has actually happened. They actually failed to push it through. Trump made some calls. And now things are officially passed, but you got to hear what's next, guys, because I'm telling you, rhinos, oh my goodness, if they're not in the GOP right now and exposing themselves, check this out.
Trump could cure cancer and they'd be outraged, right? This week, Trump signed an executive order lowering drug prices by 60%. They have 30 days to do it. And in some cases, I mean, we're going to see some substantial savings here. And Trump, as in his typical fashion, he told this story about a friend of his buying the so-called fat shot in London.
President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London, and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on? He said, so I checked, and it's the same box, made in the same plant, by the same company.
I mean, what Trump is doing is incredible, right? Finally, we have a president who is doing what we have been begging our leaders to do, lower drug prices. Yet, take a look at how the media has been covering, the regime media. Look at Axios. Pharma is facing its nightmare scenario. I mean, that's just one of many similar headlines where big pharma is now the big victim here. So what now? We should feel sorry for pharmaceutical companies, their bottom lines shrinking? I mean, do you see how the media manipulates, right? They're clearly controlled by Democrat activists designed to confuse and lie to the public. And when libs don't get what they want, they do what they do best, right? They resort to violence. Like petulant children throwing a tantrum. James Comey.
Guys, and I got to show you this because I know it's on your mind right now. This right here, I know from what I've been seeing that there is some big lobbyists involved. There are some big names involved with not having the no tax on Social Security within the big, beautiful bill. The only tax relief for seniors is a middle and low income seniors will be able to deduct an additional $4,000 on their taxes. And what they are doing is that those that are more higher income seniors will be footing the bill of paying an additional $2,000 plus in taxes. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Because I believe, again, this was one of the big things that helped Trump win the presidency. And the GOP is failing to deliver. Trump is furious. I want to know your thoughts because, again, if we do not hold these people accountable, they will get away with everything. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, we're showing you everything, guys. Good news and the bad news.
Posting this to his Instagram account. Seashells forming, the number is 8647. This is the former head of the FBI actually calling for the elimination of the President of the United States. Comey now claims that he didn't know what it meant. President Trump responded to Comey's post in an interview saying a child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. The FBI is now investigating Comey's post, which has since been taken down. But as we know, the internet is forever. Associate Deputy Attorney General Ed Martin believes that Comey could fall into a perjury trap and even end up behind bars.
Ooh.
He took it down so fast, he knows he made a mistake. But excuse me, I don't think this statute is one that you sort of take back. It's pretty clear. You post it, you do it. That may mitigate his jail sentence or something like that.
Guys, this is Ed Martin. This is the same guy that just said this morning he is going to be investigating the Biden pardons because of all the new evidence that, I mean, I feel sorry for him and our prayers are with him that President Biden has deep, aggressive prostate cancer. And usually where he's at, they've known about this. This is what people are saying for the past 7 to 10 years. So everything makes sense now. And this guy who's speaking is the guy who's going to investigate it all.
But I think he's got a problem. And as you point out, perjury traps are next because he's got to either lie or tell the truth. And when he chooses that, he's either going to jail on one or he's going to jail on the other. So I don't know. Is he a drinker? Was someone impaired? Because this was a colossal misjudgment by somebody who should have known better.
Of course. I mean, Comey knew exactly what he was doing, but he's trying to be cute about it. But could you imagine the outrage if a Republican posted to 86, a prominent Democrat? CNN, MSNBC would be talking about it nonstop and reinforcing that fake news narrative, right? That Republicans, that they're the party of violence, the conservatives, the threats of democracy. Meantime, it's Trump who is trying to bring about peace in the world every single day. The left-wing media refusing to even credit him for the release of the last American-Israeli hostage, Edon Alexander. Look at that beautiful moment. That mother, thank God, embracing her child, gone for almost 2 years in the hands of killers, right? Yet the media ignores the fact that Joe Biden left Americans to rot in Hamas captivity because he didn't care, or perhaps Joe Biden didn't have the capacity to care. A snippet of audio newly released from special counsel Robert Hur's interview with then President Joe Biden, now showing just how confused and mentally incapacitated Joe Biden was. Take a listen to Biden's response when asked about where he placed some special documents.
Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying.
Joe Biden, Joe's eldest son.
Guys, but again, it's so sad now because we know the truth. We know that Biden has really aggressive prostate cancer, and so it's been taking a toll on him. Now everything makes sense. The memory loss, the fatigue, the changing of his shoes, the changing of the schedule, the changing of the stairs into Air Force One. Guys, his sleeping schedule, all of his doctor visits. Now we know everything. So then you're about to see it. Guys, this is, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and show you because it's so big. What you're seeing now is that Biden issued 2,490 commutations in one day. That's 1,307% more than any president. What does that mean, guys? It means that he commuted the sentences of 1,500 people. There is zero chance that Biden actually reviewed these cases, much less signed them himself. All the stuff that Biden has done is now under review. All the pardons, all the people he let out of prison, all the people that essentially were controlling him behind the scenes got their way. He was the puppet. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because this more and more evidence is coming out every single day of how bad it actually was.
He died in 2015, not in 2017 or 2018 like Joe Biden just said. How do you forget the year your son died? And forgetting important dates, we know it, right? We've seen our relatives go through it. It's a well-known sign of mental decline.
Yes.
And now a new book revealing that Biden's physical deterioration was so severe in recent years that advisors privately discussed putting him in a wheelchair if he won re-election. That book co-authored by none other than CNN's Jake Tapper, who is desperately now trying to rewrite history and profit off of it. It's like the arsonist trying to put out the fire, right?
Wow.
Like I said, Jake, the internet is forever, though.
I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
You are
to
no
watch somebody on stage
this is so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter.
That was a year ago. A stutter. What a joke, right? The left-wing media. They lied to millions of Americans every single day for years. They were co-conspirators in this massive cover-up and have yet to be held accountable. Sure, their ratings have gone down, but they put out disinformation to this day.
Every day.
We still don't know who's behind the auto pen, right? Who signed off on all those things? Whose cocaine was it? And we certainly don't know who was running the White House because it was not Joe Biden, yet millions bought into the biggest scam ever perpetuated on the American people.
Guys, again, we're talking about investigations are happening not just against Biden, but against Kamala Harris, against the Biden administration. This entire presidency that we experienced over the past 4 years was entirely propped up by people that you've never heard about. You have no idea what their name is, but they were pulling the strings. All the money spent, all the commutations, all the people that were pardoned, everything that you're about to see next, guys, the Democrats have completely lost every bit of credibility that they've had with the American people because of what you're about to see next, guys. Even people on CNN are saying, you know what? The Democrats have lost it. These are Democrat people, guys. This is, again, the biggest scandal, I believe, in American history.
So let's get all of this straight. Not only do Democrats think that we are all stupid enough to believe their fake news narratives, they're now the party of outrage, indignation. How dare Trump deport criminal, illegal aliens, right? How dare he? How dare the president make drugs affordable? Who did this guy think he is, trying to protect women's sports and protect children from being mutilated? A president who wants to make the Chinese Communist Party pay their fair share? Oh, and you know what really makes them upset? Trump's effort to bring about world peace. He's supposed to be calling Ukraine and Ukraine Zelensky and Russia's President Putin tomorrow to try to broker a ceasefire. So after all of this, explain to me this. How can anyone in their right mind ever vote for a Democrat?
Democrat again, guys. And I got to show you this because, again, President Trump came out and said that the peace deals are going so good with Putin that Putin came out and said this. Russian President Putin says he's ready to work with the Ukraine to achieve a peace treaty after a discussion with President Trump. Tell me he doesn't know the art of the deal, everybody. This right here is, I mean, think about it. We're about 4 months into President Trump's presidency. Not only have we shooken the entire world with tariffs, not only are we about to pass the big, beautiful bill, minus the no tax on Social Security, which I'm not in favor of, but we've also secured the borders. We've also got the Houthis back in check. Everybody. And not only that, last week, they secured the peace deal, the ceasefire between Pakistan and India. How powerful of a leadership team does Trump have? Guys, want to say thank you so much, James Isengard, for the super chat. Thank you so much, said tired of the elite. Barbara Johnson, thank you so much for the super chat. Andy, thank you so much, said how can this be a big, beautiful bill when Social Security is not included? The rhinos and the Democrats got what they wanted. MAGA got played again, 100%, guys. I'm telling you, Mike Johnson does not have it. El Prophet, thank you for the super chat, said I just want homes affordable again, 3% for 30 years. Fred Samuel, thank you so much for the super chat, said keep an eye on Kash Patel. The next couple of weeks, information on January 6th and 2020 election interference is coming out. 100%. We've got all this stuff to show you guys today. It's getting bad. I want you to listen to this because, again, too, you cannot make up how they lie to our faces. They covered up this big scandal. Now listen to them now and tell me what you think.
Van, I remember how emotional you were in the immediate moments after the June 27th, 2024 debate because of what you saw on the stage. And with all this new reporting coming out, and I should disclose that I gave both of you copies of the book so you would have a little bit more information.
Guys, if you appreciate the exposure of all this corruption, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, what I truly hate right now is Jake Tapper sitting back and thinking, oh, I knew it all along, and y'all are just barely finding it out because of my book, and I'm just so much smarter, and I knew everything before anybody. Listen to this.
Do you feel like you were duped, Van? Like, how do you feel?
First, this book is extraordinary. I don't care who you are, left, right, or otherwise. Anybody who cares about this country and about just the dynamics of power, this is the emperor's new clothes playing itself out in real time. Everybody knew, but everyone was afraid to say, except for David Axelrod, for 2 years, that something was wrong here.
No, everybody in the Republicans and the GOP and this guy, we said it all. Y'all just lied to everybody.
And so, yeah, I was shocked. I love Joe Biden. I don't like him. I love him. I got a chance to work with him when I was a part of the Obama administration and loved him more every day. I was shocked to see his condition when he came out, and so was the world. And that wasn't the first time he was in that condition. The book makes it very, very clear. There are people who knew and said nothing. And that is a crime against this republic.
Yep.
And I think the Democrats are going to pay for a long time for being a part of what is now being revealed to be a massive cover-up.
You hear that, guys? Oh, it's now. Oh, well, it was a massive cover-up. Why? Because if Kamala Harris would have won, we would have never found out. Everything that they lied to us, even over the past 4 to 5 years, guys. Let me show you. This is a chart of all the flu and everything that happened with COVID. Just look at this. Look how much they lied to us. I got to show you everything. 2020 happens. We have the flu. All the other diseases happen. What happened in 2021 and 2022? Where did the flu go? Why did all of a sudden all the deaths attributed to the flu and all this stuff went away? Why? Because they were attributing all the deaths to COVID. Why? Because the government, and I know this because I had friends in the healthcare industry, I had friends in the law enforcement, fire departments, everybody. They were literally told that if they needed to set people's cause of death as COVID, because they would get additional federal money for their departments. So this is how the federal government was using our taxpayer dollars to incentivize them to lie. And they did it, and the superiors told them to do it because they would get more money. And you look at this chart, where did the flu go? It didn't go anywhere. All they did was they lied to us. They've been lying to us for the past 4 to 5 years, guys, on everything. And it's only now, in hindsight, that we're seeing everything. But even with this big, beautiful bill, even with what you're about to see next, we are exposing the lies left and right. Check this out.
They've got a fantastic piece in the Federalist today about how this judicial revolt is actually a judicial coup against the commander-in-chief. It's a must-read by Margot Cleveland. I've got that up on Getter. You got to read that. On this, can you solve the Medicaid problem and try to reverse this expansion in one fell swoop? I don't know. Here's what I do know. You can't have... So maybe that structurally is a big issue. I know that. And there's a lot of people worked up about it. And we don't want to cut Medicaid to the folks that need it, right? Like I said, 25%, I think 25% of MAGA is on Medicaid. You don't want to cut Medicaid to those who need it, but it's got to be very restrictive. You get 2.5 million illegal aliens, all got to go. The able-bodied that got to have a minimum work requirement or volunteer requirement or school requirement, technical training. I think it's 80 hours a month. Come on, man. That's nothing. Should be 80 hours a week. Okay? People got to be out there working or trying to find work.
That's like double.
But about this expansion, it's going to be a fight. My issue is just it's to pull back the camera and just look at Andy Harris's. You've got this 10-year, they do this 10-year budget, and the scam's always the same. The savings all come in the out years, and they never materialize.
Yep.
They just never materialize. So now we got the increase in spending for the deportations, what you need, the defense, which I don't think you need. I think it's nice to have. I think we'd like to have it, but we're in a must-have-it situation right now. The bottom line, the Wall Street Journal's got that article up. Everybody ought to read it. And you know, I'm no fan of the Wall Street Journal, particularly the editorial page. But I think their numbers are pretty solid. This is what I've been saying. The deficit does increase in the first couple of years. I don't think we're in what the plan was, and the plan is a good plan. It's not a perfect plan, but get the deficit from 6.5% of GDP down to 3.5% of GDP. Now, if there are other revenue streams that people are not taking into consideration, like the External Revenue Service and tariffs, you've already had a record month in tariffs. Maybe the tariffs have got a couple $100 billion. I don't know. That hasn't been formally laid out, I don't think. This is why I keep saying that somebody's got to put forward a model. Hassett doesn't need to come on and continue to talk about the politics of it. What we need to do is have an adults conversation, then debate, then discussion, then yelling at each other, but around a set of math that people agree. So everything ought to be thrown into the kitty. Number one, Hassett just said there's no tax on Social Security. I didn't see that.
It's not in there.
I see where there's $4,000 that you can put to it, but you're still taxing Social Security. So I think it's pretty unclear on some of the revenue side.
And guys, remember, we bring the receipts. Right here, you can see this is from the House Ways and Means Committee, that there is, and highlighted in yellow, the tax relief for seniors. Middle and low income seniors will be able to deduct an additional $4,000 off their taxes, but what they're not showing you is there's an additional $2,000 in the taxes for high income earners when it comes to Social Security. So they took it from the lower income and middle income on Social Security and put it on the higher income. Now, if that higher income on Social Security is for those that are, say, have a net worth of over $1 million, I'm okay with that, okay? Because honestly, if you're worth over $1 million, do you really need Social Security? But what this just shows us again too is we got played by the GOP. They were supposed to fulfill this promise by Trump, and they didn't, guys. That's what makes me upset. That's why we need a new speaker. I think, honestly, let me know your thoughts in the comments of who needs to replace Mike Johnson. But I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Norby, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, maybe we need Byron Donalds as Speaker of the House. He pushes Trump's agenda, or get Newt Gingrich back. 100%. Byron Donalds, though, wants to be governor of Florida, and I think he's going to make a run for president in about 16 years. But thank you so much, Mr. Norby. Y'all show him some love in the chat. Mr. Furley, thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you so much, G.L. Poffreeman, for the super chat. Y'all show them some love in the chat, guys.
But on the cost side, on the revenue side, if you've got money coming in from tariffs and you think it's pretty consistent, let's show it. Right? If we got monies coming in from any other ways, let's show it. Let's get an agreed upon growth rate that at least we can say, okay, that sounds logical. Then that drives the rest of revenue. Let's show it. Let's show every aspect of cutting. And I think it's going to become evident of the defense and other discretionary spending. I don't know how you don't go after this. You got to show that you're bending the arc on the deficits from 6.5 down to 3.5 as percentage of GDP. The downgrade, and Scott Besson said it's backward looking. Okay, it's backward looking, but it's still a fact. We still have, and because all the great efforts Scott Besson's doing, taking over from Yellen, the debt's still at 36.5. But the moment we pass the debt ceiling increase, it's going to go up to 37 because of all the extraordinary measures he's going to do. Are going to be lifted, and it'll be part of become part of the debt. Also, just the math. If you have fiscal year 25, which ends September 30th, because we took the illegitimate Biden budget, right?
And yes, guys, again, like, I hate even saying this right now, but the Republican GOP passed Biden's budget with the continuing resolution. They didn't cut anything, guys. Nothing. The huge budget deficit that we had with Biden, they continued it for another dang year. And Mike Johnson was the one who led that. And they didn't put any Doge cuts. They didn't take any time to actually cut the wasteful Green New Deal, Green New scam. They didn't cut any of the USAID, nothing. So I don't want to hear it when it comes to, oh, we're focused on the national debt and taxpayers. No, a bunch of dang rhinos.
We did. This was the speaker. And we're doing this in fiscal year 26 that starts October 1st. I don't know. Show me the math that shows that we don't blow through the $4 trillion added to the to the debt ceiling. So we're not at $40 trillion by the midterm elections. Just somebody show me a model that shows that. So we looked and said, okay, I see these assumptions. I agree with that. Maybe I don't agree with this. Also, the cuts that Dozier's supposed to find.
Right there.
I understand that they're now trying to be codified in some sort of rescissions. Let's see what that number is. Let's get it all on the table so that we can all speak from it. And so the president can see this. I'm not sure he's shown all the numbers. I just don't know. Maybe. So Russ ought to come out and Hassett and Scott, and they ought to work together, and we ought to get a set of numbers. And then with Andy and these guys say, hey, look, maybe we can't do everything. You're trying to reverse Obamacare, at least aspects of it. Maybe that's doable, and maybe all of it's not doable. But that's the discussion we got to have this weekend. You can't have some artificial deadline that's got to happen by Labor Day weekend. It has to be right, because we're going to live with this. This is going to be a permanent part of President Trump's legacy. I told you, June 15th, the 10th anniversary, coming down the escalator. That's nothing but a preamble for what's going to happen in the next 100 or so days between Putin and the taxes and the border and the judges and all of it.
Let me take. Sorry. Let me show you this, guys, because again, too, what we're facing right now, and I just got some breaking news. The reason that Putin came out this morning to declare that he is ready to work with Ukraine to get the peace treaty deal and all that done this week is because he is in talks with Scott Bessent and with President Trump to heavily increase trade with the U.S. following the end of the Ukraine war. This is from the leading report. Guys, we bring you the receipts, guys. There is no hiding anything from you. I've got multiple screens. I'm pulling it over. Russia reportedly wants to heavily increase trade with the U.S. following the end of the Ukraine war. All this is super important in getting a deal done, guys. This is the art of the deal. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. We are showing you guys that, again, it's the accountability is across the board. We've got Ed Martin, who has come out, who is now the U.S. pardons attorney, who is saying that, guess what? The integrity of the American pardon system requires that we examine the Biden pardons and who did what. We will get to the bottom of it. Count on us. All the best. Ed Martin, U.S. pardon attorney, baby. This is his pit bulls. And remember, there's Republican rhinos that did not want to push him through as a D.C. attorney, guys. But you know what? That's okay. Trump put him at the DOJ, and now he's kicking butt for him there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Well, I said, thank you so much, Mr. Furley, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, while using the budget reconciliation process, they can't eliminate taxes on Social Security. Without BR process, the bill might not pass. They are giving seniors a $4,000 tax break instead, 100%. And then Peter Ortiz said a no tax on Social Security will be a separate bill. They conceded some on the bill to get a continuing resolution. Trump will now have more bargaining power to get the Social Security bill passed. Guys, y'all show Mr. Furley and Peter Ortiz some love in the chat, as well as Mr. Norby, who said, at True Life News, brother, I just said might be sending you a video of Pufferman and Mr. Norby doing the flex with the new True Life News t-shirts. Can I do that? 100%. I would love to show it, guys. Y'all show them some love in the chat. What you're about to see next, guys, is more details on the whole Biden investigation. Everything is coming out, guys, over what's going to happen next, because this is about as serious as it gets. They hid this from the American public on what happened with Biden, his diagnosis. Look at this. Prostate cancer is the easiest cancer to diagnose when it first starts, and watch it progress to bone metastasis. I think that's how you say it. The PSA blood test showed the rate of cancer cell growth for even the most aggressive forms. It is a 5 to 7 year journey without treatment before it becomes metastatic. Metastatic. I think that's what it's saying, guys. Meaning it would be malpractice for this patient to show up and be first diagnosed with metastatic disease in May 2025. It is highly likely he was carrying a diagnosis of prostate cancer throughout his White House tenure, and the American people were uninformed. Guys, is this not the biggest scandal to hit us in a long time when it comes to the Democrat cover-up? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
Okay, we have a Fox News alert. Messages of support are rolling in from around the country after former President Biden announced he's been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Our senior White House correspondent, Peter Doocy, is here with the latest. Peter?
Good morning. And the first ever email we received from a newly formed Biden personal office was about this cancer diagnosis. Part of their note said he was diagnosed with prostate cancer characterized by a Gleason score of 9 with metastasis to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. President Trump's reaction to that: Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, says Jeanette and I are united in prayer for the Biden family during this difficult time. Kamala Harris says Joe is a fighter, and I know he will face this challenge with the same strength, resilience, and optimism that have always defined his life and leadership. We are hopeful for a fast and speedy recovery. And then Barack Obama says nobody's done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all its forms than Joe. I'm certain he will fight this challenge with his trademark resolve and grace. There was, of course, a ton of focus on President Biden's health while he was in office, but most of it focused on cognitive abilities and whether or not the Parkinson's specialist who kept getting cleared into the White House was treating the president. There were a lot fewer questions about cancer screenings, especially after July 21st of last year, when he said he was not going to seek a second term. Friday, we all heard that Robert Hur audio come out, and the Biden office was quiet about it. Now we know Friday is also the day they got news from the doctor about this diagnosis.
Guys, that's not, I'm telling you, it's not by coincidence. They released the Hur tapes over the interview, and the Biden, whoever, PR, family knew it was only a matter of time before all the chips, all the dominoes started falling over Biden's cognitive decline, over his health decline, guys. And it's not, it is sad. We don't wish cancer on anybody. It breaks my heart because, again, too, it's such, like, this stuff is horrible. But again, too, when you're the president of the United States, when you're the family, I could literally see Jill saying, Joe, just keep it going. We'll make sure that everything's run good. We'll make sure that things are taken care of. We're protecting democracy because we're keeping it away from Trump. Like, can you imagine that's the conversation that they had? Because I can. And I don't have any facts to say that that's what happened, but I'm just, in my mind, I can see that the whole time they're trying to tell them we're trying to protect democracy, and then at the last minute, this dude was saying he was going to run for president again? Are you kidding me? Guys, all of it is just so mind-blowing that we experienced this with the highest office in the United States.
All right, well, our thoughts and prayers are with his family. We definitely don't wish this on anyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Peter. All right, let's bring in Fox News senior medical analyst, Dr. Mark Siegel, to respond to this. Dr. Siegel, we got word about this yesterday. Your reaction to how advanced it seems.
Really surprising that it's this advanced at the time of diagnosis. Now, you can miss prostate cancer, but most of the time regular screening picks it up. A sitting president, I would expect to have advanced screening. Should not be subject to debate what kind of screening. You do a PSA for sure every year on a president.
Would a PSA test have picked that up?
Not all the time, but there's other tests that we do that are several different kinds of tests you can do in addition to the PSA. But the PSA would pick it up the majority of the time. If he's diagnosed by somebody feeling a nodule, that's not these days the way we do it most of the time. Also, most of the time prostate cancer is diagnosed without symptoms. it has to get really pretty far advanced usually before you could have urinary symptoms leading towards urinary retention. Thank God they found it. He's a fighter. He's been through a tremendous amount in his life, not politically, we're talking, with his son, with his wife, with his daughter.
2 aneurysms.
2 aneurysms, atrial fibrillation. He's been through a lot health-wise. But I am absolutely shocked that they didn't find this earlier.
Dr. Siegel, now that we know it's metastasized, it's in his bone, how long has this cancer been in his body?
Well, it's aggressive, Ainsley, which means that it's moving pretty fast. But I can't tell you for sure, but he didn't just get this overnight. He's had this for months and months. Even if it is aggressive, it's a Gleason 9, which means under the microscope, group 5, under the microscope, it's quite aggressive. They find that it's responsive to anti-testosterone type therapy. We have that. We have it in oral form now. We have it in an injectable form. So he will probably get that treatment. He should get personalized treatment too. There's a lot of debate about whether you should do surgery, whether you should do radiation, what you should do to that bone metastasis. The fact that there's only one is better than if there was more than that. That's good. He has to be monitored very, very closely. Again, he needs a personalized approach.
Guys, and this is crazy because, again, oh my goodness, this news is so crazy. If you have a Gleason 9, and we don't know how long he's had that, we know this is what the actual, medical science is saying, that there is a 29 or a 28% chance of survival once you've been given a score of a 9 on the Gleason grading system, a 28%. And each year it goes up and up and up. Who knows when this happened, when it was diagnosed, guys? If you appreciate all this context, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for your support. I just want to bring you the full context because, again, a lot of this stuff is new to us. I never heard of Gleason 9 before, but it means so much more when you actually know what is the survival rate, how long do they have, and then where does it go from there?
What do you do about the spreading to the bone?
Well, usually you would just give the anti-hormone therapy, hope it shrinks. Maybe you would radiate that lesion to the bone. We now have the most focused radiation. Over the last 5 years, the entire treatment for prostate cancer has changed. But still, his 5-year survival rate might be under 50%, even with all of that. But the key here, Charlie, is early response. Will he have early response? They're going to see the first 6 months how he does with this initial therapy. But again, I can't emphasize enough 2 things. Personalized approach. I might say hormone therapy. They might be saying hormone therapy, but with a former president, they might do a smattering of things. And 2, early diagnosis is key for everyone out there. Every male out there over the age of 45, get your prostate checked. And I personally don't say a certain age is too old. I say keep going.
Would you, what's the prognosis here? Is he going to have to do chemo? You mentioned radiation, have the prostate removed. What would you recommend if this were your relative?
Well, I would recommend all of those options being on the table. Right now, these days, we do a team approach.
Guys, and just think about it. How hard it is at the age that Biden is at to go through all this stuff and experience, at such a late age. Our prayers are with him. We hope all the best. But again, it does merit the new investigations that are happening into his administration for the decisions that he made while sitting president. Did he fully make them? There's lots of things, guys. And I'm only reporting what I feel and what I see as the most reputable. But there's people that are saying that most of the pardons were made at night whenever he was asleep. Could this be true? Could be. But what we're finding out every day is that less and less was he actually the president, and more was his cabinet and Trump and people behind the scenes actually president of the United States. I want to show you this, guys, because just 2 weeks ago, President Trump was still mentioning no tax for Social Security. And our GOP, our Republicans, I feel like, and I bring this with context, over the past month and a half, they took a 2-week vacation in April. 2 weeks, guys, in April. 2 weeks ago, they took 2 extra days of vacation off when it came to Mother's Day. Last week, they take an additional vacation day. Next week is Memorial. They're taking the Memorial Day off, but they said if they don't pass the bill by then, they're not going to take it off. I don't believe that. I believe they're going to pass it by then. But again, we have seen what you're about to see next is the numbers. People are seeing that this Congress has been the laziest when it has come to actually passing bills and codifying Trump's executive orders. The numbers don't lie, guys, compared to previous administrations. I'm about to show you this next, but I want to say thank you so much, Elizabeth Rancor, for the super chat. Let's go. Said a doctor on Benny Johnson this morning stated that the treatment for prostate cancer side effects are decreased mental function along with muscle weakness. It appears that he may have been receiving treatment for a while. Wow. Y'all show Elizabeth some love in the chat. It all makes sense though, guys. It 100% makes sense. Let me know your thoughts on what you're about to see next, guys, because again, I just don't get it. When you have the most strongest leader as president of the United States sitting in office, we seem to have the most weakest leadership in GOP ever. Check this out.
Are the numbers around Trump's agenda and how successful they've been in getting it to him?
Yeah, I mean, look, this has been a historically unproductive Congress so far. I mean, it's basically bizarro land compared to where we were during the first Trump administration. So laws signed by a president since 1953 at this point of presidency. Look, the fewest on record through this point, there have only been 5. Get it? 5 laws actually passed by this Congress and then signed into law by the president. Compare that to 2017 when you actually had 35 by this point, which was the most on record. So it's not much of a surprise that this Congress is struggling to actually pass legislation, because the fact is that has been the rule of the game so far, where they just really haven't been able to pass anything. And the fact that they'll actually be able to pass something, well, it's a minor miracle by some accords.
Without Congress, the president, Donald Trump has proven that he's just going to go on without them, which is why where executive orders have come in so much, so often, and so early. What are the numbers around that?
Yeah, so, if Congress has been historically unproductive, Donald Trump has been historically productive. What are we talking about here? Well, if you can't pass a law, why don't you just sign an executive order? That's what Donald Trump's been doing. So Trump executive orders at this point. In 2017, it was just 36. Look at the number now. Holy Toledo, 152. That is the most on record for any president at this point in a presidency, dating back since at least the FDR administration. Indeed, if you had this 152 and Donald Trump didn't sign a single other one, that itself for the entire year would be the most since FDR. And of course, we still have, 6-7 months to go? So the bottom line is Congress, historically unproductive, but Donald Trump has been historically productive because he's signed all these executive orders. You can do the quick math. I mean, 4 or 5 times as many this term than he had in his first term? Holy cow.
But then where are Republicans in terms of on this, like getting stuff through Congress or not, signing executive orders? It all comes down to trust, like who they actually trust to do it better.
Yeah, you bring in Donald Trump as the closer. He is the Mariano Rivera of the Republican Party, or maybe Jonathan Papelbon if you're a John Berman. You're welcome, Johnny B. Who Republicans trust more if these groups disagree on an issue?
Guys, look at these numbers. Oh my goodness, this is insane. Donald Trump at 58% of who Republicans trust compared to 22% with the GOP leaders. Why? Because we've seen it, guys. Your history, your receipts, Mike Johnson's receipts have always shown that he bends the knee to the Democrats. He consistently allows too much pork and fat in there, and it's wasteful wasteful use of the taxpayer dollars on stupid government spending. The continuing resolution that was passed, a couple months ago, was exactly what Biden had put on the table, guys. No Doge cuts. No cuts to the USAID, no cuts to anything. It was only by Trump's executive orders that cuts have been made for Doge that have happened. It wasn't Congress. If we don't have, to me, one of the most spineless congressional leaders in our American history with one of the most strongest leaders as president, this is what we're getting, and people show it.
Donald Trump or the GOP leaders in Congress, just 22% say the GOP leaders in Congress, 58%, that's a very large number, say Donald Trump. So the bottom line is, yes, Congress is struggling, but Donald Trump is thriving in terms of getting his agenda enacted, and that is why Donald Trump is going to be pushing these Republicans very hard in order to get this budget passed.
Well, of course, because executive orders, those can change with the signature of the next president.
You got it exactly right.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
You see that, guys? The executive orders can be changed in just like that, and that's what we don't want. We need to put America on a track that we actually fix things for a while. I'm so tired of seeing, guys, all this dumb back and forth every 4 years. We can't get anything done, and it's all because we don't have a Congress that puts America first. You appreciate this, guys. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Fred Samuel, thank you so much for your super chat. Said we will see what Congress does after they get this bill through. 100%. And Raymond Acosta, welcome to the family. Gene Kopich, thank you so much for the super chat. Said Speaker Johnson needs to be replaced with a MAGA American Patriot. No more Rhino Speaker. Guys, who I'm about to show you next, I would even like to see him as Speaker. Y'all show Gene some love in the chat, guys. Let's go. Check this out.
Here. I have a question. So Trump is supposed to talk with President Zelensky today, and I'm just curious, where does the U.S. stand in terms of negotiation? Is the U.S. still open to walking away from negotiations? Are you guys committed to seeing it through?
Yeah. Well, I'd say we're more than open to walking away. The president's supposed to talk to President Putin of Russia and President Zelensky as well, and I'm sure he'll talk to a number of world leaders today because he always does that. But look, the president's been very clear. This is not the United States is not going to spin its wheels here. We want to see outcomes. And the first major outcome that we wanted to see, which we were glad about, is that we wanted the Russians and the Ukrainians to put a real peace proposal on the table. What would you need to do in order to stop fighting? That happened. The second thing is they needed to agree to direct talks with one another. These sides hadn't talked in years. We thought that was a disgrace. That has now happened. But now, the talks have been proceeding for a little while. We realize there's a bit of an impasse here. And I think the president's going to say to President Putin, look, are you serious? Are you real about this? Because the proposal from the United States has always been, look, there are a lot of economic benefits to thawing relations between Russia and the rest of the world, but you're not going to get those benefits. You keep on killing a lot of innocent people. So if you're willing to stop the killing, the United States is willing to be a partner for peace. That's been the proposal to the Russians, to the Ukrainians, and frankly, to nations and other hotspots around the world. I won't prejudge the president's conversation. I actually was just on the phone with him. I know he's looking forward to it, and I wish him all the best. I think he's the right guy to negotiate for the country, and I'm excited about it.
Mr. Vice President, Axios is reporting that you decided against a visit to Israel after this trip because of the Israeli military's expansion of their operation in Gaza. Is that accurate, or is there a reason for not moving on to Israel?
Well, I think there's a lot of overstatement there. I haven't seen the story, to be clear, so I don't want to speak to the details. But the simple reason is we thought about going to Israel. We also thought about going to a couple of other countries that the president would like me to visit here in the next few months. Logistically, it was just a little bit too hard on basic things like who the hell's going to take care of our kids if we take another couple of days overseas, but on some more serious things like how do we provide security, how do we make sure that we get all the assets that we need in order to do the right official delegation. So I'm sure we'll visit Israel sometime in the future, but not today.
And just another question on Russia and Ukraine. From the administration's point of view, what seems to be the obstacle in trying to get this ceasefire deal?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, but there are so many different things that are obstacles that it's hard to pinpoint one in particular. Look, I think one open question is Vladimir Putin serious about negotiating peace, right? He has made some concessions. He has taken some serious steps in these conversations, but we feel like, we're at a point where we're hitting an impasse, and that's why the president is talking to him on the phone. Yeah, I think honestly, that President Putin, he doesn't quite know how to get out of the war. If you think about this, he's got 1 million men under arms. He's re-engineered his entire economy. What used to be manufacturing facilities making, products for people to use in their civilian life, they're now making tank shells and artillery shells and drones. And so this is a little bit of guess, but I think the president would agree that part of this is I'm not sure that Vladimir Putin has a strategy himself for how to unwind the war. Of course, that's been going on for a few years now. And I think there's also just a little bit of, look, there's fundamental mistrust between Russia and the West. It's one of the things the president thinks is frankly stupid, that we should be able to move beyond the mistakes that have been made in the past. But that takes two to tango. I know the president's willing to do that, but if Russia's not willing to do that, then we're eventually just going to have to say, this is not our war. It's Joe Biden's war. It's Vladimir Putin's war. It's not our war. We're going to try to end it, but if we can't end it, we're eventually going to say, you know what, that was worth a try, but we're not doing it anymore.
Last question. Oh, no, you bet.
Speaking of Joe Biden, sir, do you have any thoughts on his diagnosis?
Yeah, look, I mean, first of all, of course, we wish the best for the former president's health. And, it sounds pretty serious, but hopefully he makes the right recovery. Like, I will say, whether the right time to have this conversation is now or at some point in the future, we really do need to be honest about whether the former president was capable of doing the job. And that's no, that you can separate the desire for him to have the right health outcome with the recognition that whether it was doctors or whether there were staffers around the former president, I don't think he was able to do a good job for the American people.
100%.
And that's not politics. That's not because I disagreed with him on policy. That's because I don't think that he was in good enough health. In some ways, I blame him less than I blame the people around him. And why didn't the American people have a better sense of his health picture? Why didn't the American people have more accurate information about what he was actually dealing with? This is serious stuff.
Yes.
This is a guy who carries around the nuclear football for the world's largest nuclear arsenal. This is not child's play, and we can pray for good health, but also recognize that if you're not in good enough health to do the job, you shouldn't be doing the job. Okay.
Guys, just wise words, guys. I got to show you this because, again, too, Trump just keeps winning time and time again, guys. It's so hilarious. The resignations are flowing after CBS after Trump announced a lawsuit against 60 Minutes. Well, guess what? The CBS News chief steps down amid tensions over Trump lawsuit. Everybody, Wendy McMahon wrote onto the staff, everybody is leaving CBS. Why? Because Trump is suing them for $10 billion, guys. Not million, we're talking billion. He's not playing around. He said they interfered with the presidential election, which they did. He said that not only that, but they were trying to help a presidential candidate, and they have the, the over-the-air free broadcasting license that was given to them, which they shouldn't have, guys. Little by little, just think about this. If Trump doesn't win this election, none of this exists. But because he won, we are exposing the truth like nobody's business, and it's great because, again, the more that people see this, the more that people move to the center and they move towards common sense. Larry Pickett, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, Mr. Norby made me donate. I love it. Fred Samuel, thank you so much. Said, I want Trump to bring Elon back as speaker. I love it. And then we had Greg. Let's go with the super chat. Who said MGT, it's MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene for speaker. I would vote for her in a heartbeat. Why? Because she's a true patriot. Y'all show them some love in the chat, guys. Check this out because, again, the more that's coming out, the more that we're like, holy smokes, what the heck has been happening in the United States for the past 4 years? Check this out.
Dave Bratt, your thoughts, observations, sir.
Well, I like your rant, and unfortunately, the Congress and the Senate's not ranting about anything. It's just business as usual, it appears, across the board. And so I hate to say it, but this will change. This is a huge revelation. As you say, it'll spiral out of control. If you start exploring and expanding and calling people in front of our committees, our major committees, it'll be information overload with corruption. And so I hate to ask, but Trump is going to have to do a rant on his own people so they know he wants it. They know he wants it. But that has to happen. As you say, when you have the CEO and commander-in-chief of the United States of America, there's no bigger story. Out of commission. The reporter didn't want to go all in. You could see him reticent. But he said he was bubble-wrapped. We had to be with him to support him on the basic facts. We're talking about the president of the United States here. This is no joke. This is it. And when you get that chance right there, and it's not political, this is for the republic, as you said, you better do the right thing. And then you got these press guys coming in. You've got Jake Tapper saying, yeah, I could have gone after it a little bit further, and Joe and Mika every morning saying he's at the top of his mental acuity. And Tapper always says at the beginning of your show every day, we don't have a soul. His book is called Original Sin, and he is the most arrogant. Arrogance and pride is the original sin. And the left needs to be taken to task, all of them. What did you know? When did you know it, for a change? We had Republicans that actually went up against Nixon because there's some people of character left back then, and they acted like Cub Scouts not knowing that Nixon was being taken out. And so now we know all of it. We know everything across the board.
Hang on, we hammered this every day, Jack. Pasobek hammered it every day.
Yeah.
You could tell the guy wasn't up to it. We kept ranting. Where's your 25th Amendment? Why are you letting this guy? And here's who knew it: the Russians. You don't think the Russians knew this on the eve of rolling in there in 22?
The whole way.
You don't think the enemies of Israel and the United States didn't know this before the Muslim Brotherhood moved in October of? Listen, don't take it from me. See what you see. Listen to it and just listen to it. It's an entirety. On the 8th of October of 2023, we have a record. This is the day after the attack happened. That's your commander-in-chief. That's your commander-in-chief. And if he had a prosecutor, you know, that was getting down on it, he would have been ripped apart. He'd been all over. He'd been all over the floor. They treated him like they were hospital attendants in a nursing home. And Merrick Garland, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but I think I went to prison for 4 months on a misdemeanor for defying a subpoena that Merrick Garland prosecuted me personally. And didn't the Congress come to him about this? Where's Merrick Garland? Why is Merrick Garland not going to pay a penalty for this? Why he's not going to pay a price for this? I'm not about vengeance. I'm not about come retribution. That has nothing to do with it. This is about this republic. We cannot allow this to stand. Everybody associated with this has got to be called in question under oath. We got to get to the bottom of this. How he was selected, how they bubble wrapped him, what else do we don't know they kept it from? We need to grill these people. And hey, if the Justice Department can't do it and the FBI can't do it, then get a special prosecutor and let's roll. They set up a special prosecutor for this the first time on the classified documents against him. There's a much bigger story here, and I'm shocked that Merrick Garland, listening to this tape, he kept saying, I'm totally independent. You're not independent. You're a hack. And no offense, he should be charged with crimes right now.
Guys, and again, we're going to do this. Oh, man, we're going to do this in tonight's video because I got to get some more details, guys. Anytime that I bring a story, I want to make sure I have the full context of it. But from what I'm seeing, the Pam Bondi has issued the first steps in charging Merrick Garland for the 20 million plus illegal aliens that he let into the country. We're going to give more details on that in tonight's show, but this is big, guys, because if he's held accountable, people in the Biden administration are held accountable for what they did, we will finally get justice for all the corruption. And not only him, but Alejandro Mayorkas will also face charges as well.
Conspiracy to conceal this from the American people. Don't take it from me. Listen to the tape and write in your calendar 8 October 2023. Less than 24 hours after the attack of the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas in Israel. And this is your commander-in-chief. This is the guy calling the shots. This is the guy making the final, all the movies are all down in the Situation Room. And, Joe Biden, he knows so much and he's so much better than Trump. And Trump is so erratic. Compare this in the heat of battle to Donald Trump in the Middle East this week. Do you know, I kept telling you that one of the reasons I used to harp on this all the time, that the people throughout the world, the elites throughout the world knew he wasn't legitimate. They didn't treat him like legitimate. Remember when he rides up in the SUV to MBS and they give the little fist bump? Because they're dismissing him. They knew exactly this. He was placed in by the Praetorian Guard. If you want to break the Praetorian Guard's hold on this empire, which they have, the deep state, the way you break it is you use this as the instrument.
Guys, and that is what we're combating, guys. It's the deep state, no doubt about it. I've got more stuff that we're going to be getting into, guys, but do want to say thank you so much to everybody who's watching. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We want you here with us so we can serve you every day with the top news. Thank you to our viewers, all of our subscribers. We couldn't do it without you guys. We are living in history right now with everything that's being uncovered, with all the corruption, with all the fraud that we're exposing daily, with all the new investigations coming from Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino. Everybody is showing us exactly what we've known over the past 4 years, is that things have been controlled by unelected bureaucrats, people that you have no idea what they look like. You don't even know their names, but they're the ones who've been controlling our country and putting us further into a hole. And even still, we have the GOP rhinos that are continuing to waste taxpayer dollars and not codify Doge cuts, not codify Trump's executive orders. We get this big, beautiful bill, and it doesn't even have the dang no tax on Social Security. It just gives a Social Security deduction. Guys, we need change more than ever. Want to give some love to our members of the channel. Guys, remember, when you're a member of the channel, when you give a super chat, we donate this money live on stream. You see this guy live on stream donate thousands of dollars every single month. And on the 22nd of every single month, we do this in just a couple of days. We're so excited that you partner with us, and we've literally been able to give over $33,000 live on stream with your support. And we're going to be giving a lot more this in a couple of days. Guys, I want to give some love to Andy for the super chat. He said, how about them trying to give us cancer due to all the poisoning, the foods, the water, all this stuff? That's why Maha is so important. Thank you so much, brother. Pamela Connolly, thank you so much for the super chat. Said the speaker needs to do his job or leave. 100%. Y'all show Pamela some love in the chat, as well as Tiffany Yen for the super chat and member, guys. Y'all are so amazing. Want to get some additional love too. B1 Sly One for the super chat. James Isengard, Barbara Johnson, El Prophet 19, Fred Samuel, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, OG of the channel, hooking up Geoff Poffrey, man, with a True Life News t-shirt, because I think Geoff's in the UK. Mr. Furley, thank you so much. Peter Ortiz, Geoff Poffreyman, Elizabeth Raincourt, Ramon Acosta, Gene Kopech. Y'all show Gene some love in the chat. Larry Pickett, Greg, Pamela Conley, Tiffany Yen. Guys, show them some love. Thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do this without you. We are in it, guys. This is a big, big week for us. Are we going to see the GOP actually come up and do their dang job? We just showed you that they have, in history times, put out the least amount of bills for a president to put into law than any other Congress, and yet they're supposed to be the ones actually fulfilling Trump's agenda? I don't think so. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.